Greetings, gamers. Welcome back to the Misfit Gamers Tavern, at least the development of it. Yeah, we are back here today to finish the wall, so that's going to be pretty fun. I'm excited to get that done. It's going to be kind of a chill day. Kage won't be with me this time, but we're just going to be kind of hanging out, have some chill music going. Hopefully the audio quality is a lot better than last Monday. I know that with this headset, it's just super difficult to properly set up, but I've done some research. I tried to dial it in as best I can. I can only fight it so much. I can only do so many. I can only do so many filters to a crappy microphone. So it is just a Bluetooth headset that I'm using. So hopefully, at least it's going to be a little bit better and not sound so robotic and nasty as it did last time. But yeah, we are back. Last time we finished all of the molds, so we finished up the last bit of these guys on Monday for anybody who wasn't here who saw that stream. So now that we're done with these, as you guys can see, we've put them all up on the wall. Today's goal is going to be getting rid of all of the green tape. So I have a whole bunch of these plastered around the place, all the way up to all this corner. And then I had a couple of these small ones that I made by cutting out some of these extra bits. I cut this one down quite a bit into multiple pieces, so I can fill in some of these gaps. So that's going to be the goal: is get all of these that have green tape permanently affixed to the wall. And there's a couple other spots like here that need to be filled in. I think there's like one or two over there that I want to do, one down below the table. And then once all of that's done, depending on what time that is, we'll either call it a day or I will actually get to filling in the rest of it. So once everything's up on the wall, all of these pieces are affixed, kind of like everything else is, and I have all of the gaps filled. I need to go through and then, like, where this is a big gap that I need to actually put a piece of plaster or a cutout in, the rest of this stuff just needs to get filled in. All of the actual seams I need to fill in with plaster. So then when I go through it with the sanding, then I can make it all look homogeneous and all one piece. So then I gotta hope that I can do a cover layer over everything to fill in all of these potholes, but we'll find out. There's a lot of little pitting here. We'll figure that part out later. But for right now, one step at a time, not trying to worry about it. We need to get the things on the table. What's going on, Freeman? What room is this for? Addiction management or just painting to pass time? So this is the future Misfit Gamers Tavern. So it is basically kind of like a side room I have in the back of my house that was absolute just a junk room when we bought the house. It smelled, it had nasty carpet. It had like right over here. Yeah, so over here, you can't really see it because we've done a lot of touch-up work, but there used to be like a wannabe closet, like fully right here without a door, and this entire side was bare down to the 2x4s, and all of this was actually like completed and had sheetrock on it, but they had like torn it open because they had water damage, so they had torn it all open, tried to repair it. It looked like trash. They had like a wannabe like crappy shelving unit that was like between this closet and the wall. They just like installed like easy to insert shelves. So that was all complete trash. The room just was terrible. So we gutted it, ripped out the carpet. It was bare concrete, so I put in the floor a couple months ago. And then the whole point now is getting the stone wall done, so eventually we can start getting in the furniture. So this is going to be kind of the off-stream time. It's going to be like my game room / bar. So back here, I already have kind of that little back corner piece is going to be one of the bar shelves. I'll have another one back here. I have a plan to get a small mobile bar to be put in over here, just like a countertop. And then over in this space, like the biggest space right here, I'm looking at a 7-foot pool table that has like a tabletop on it. So we'll have a gaming table with bench seating, and then that can be pushed in. The tabletop can be removed, and then this will be a standard 7-foot pool table. And then one thing I'm also working on that you guys can't really see right above here is right above my windows. I just put in these these specialty brackets, and that I had to have like custom made, and that's going to be our gaming shelf. Because before we had just a bookshelf with all of our games slotted on it, and we just, you know, it was always hard to get games and stuff. So I wanted this display shelf that kind of reminded me of a gamer, or like a game shop, where you go in the game shop and they're all like, you know, displayed at like a certain angle that you can read them all at. But I also wanted it to give it the vibe of like the tavern. So let me actually pull up the mobile camera real quick, and I'll show you guys. I don't have any of them pointing because it points outside the windows, so I try to be mindful. But what I can do is oh no, I need to be on Wi-Fi, that's why. Okay, now I'm on Wi-Fi, activate. There we go, boom. So what I ended up doing was I got these brackets made. You would not believe how difficult a 45-degree angle bracket like this is to find. Like, I could not find it anywhere in terms of like any hardware shop. I don't have any good metallists or, you know, blacksmiths around my area that are like home blacksmiths, so I had to go online. I only found this on Etsy. I found like 2 people doing it at the angle that I needed and even close to what I wanted. One person was almost double the price for something not nearly as well finished as this. Like, this thing came so well done, so well finished, that it was like, it wasn't greasy, it wasn't oily. There were no imperfections on it. The drill marks that you get are absolutely fantastic. I think it's turning off so I can't see what I'm doing. But yeah, the drill marks were absolutely great. It's sturdy. The welds were, I mean, absolutely second to none. And yeah, these were like half the price of the next best person doing it, and it's exactly what I needed. I will tell you too, the precision on these, I stacked all of these up on each other, and all corners match. All angles match. I got 6 of them, so they were all machined perfectly. So I set them up on the wall right here above my window, and then I'm making, as you can see here, I'm currently gluing in a lip onto this beam, because just like with this one, the goal is I have it all the way over the top here to all the way over to the bar. Didn't want to go all the way to the edge of the roof, because that's obviously, this is where, like, you know, I'm going to be working with the bar stuff. So it's all the way up to here, right above my window, and I can kind of slide these to make it perfect. But yeah, so this one already has the lip on it, as you can see. So once that's up, you'll see I have all of our, you know, boxes and boxes of games. That was a game. I don't need that. I don't love these. Alright, so the goal is, once it's all obviously said and done and I actually have it, like, figured out what games I want where, what happened here? This is actually a really fun game. It used to be a card game originally, and they made it into a dice game, and I love the dice game so much more than the card game. But yeah, so this is the whole point, is eventually, once we have it all said and done, you'd be able to sit back, and once you walk into the room, you'd have a pretty clear view, you know, of what games we have. And then you'd be able to walk up, and then, you know, even at my eye level, having to look up, you can clearly see what games we have. And we have, you know, 2 boxes of games. I mean, they're not full because I didn't want to smash any of them, but we got old school, we got super old school games. I'll probably end up going through these when I put them up later, once I finish gluing this guy. Oh yeah, I've had this thing since I was a kid. My parents got it. We've never opened it. You can see it's not in mint condition because it did get broken, but this is the original packaging, and it was the Star Trek How to Host a Mystery, and I'm like, one of these days I might try to do that, see how bad it is or how good it is. We got some unopened collectible, or wannabe collectibles, but Sailor Moon Monopoly and Doctor Who Monopoly both unopened, but obviously not in mint condition. And then a whole bunch of other games that will go up. So yeah, so that is the goal for this particular room. Is the goal for this particular room is there's going to be a bar in this corner where I can just have me and my friends over and we can have drinks. We'll have a gaming table / pool table, and I have all my games displayed. And then eventually in between, you guys kind of saw there's a space in between the two TVs, or in between the two windows. I do plan on mounting a TV there for enhanced gaming purposes, because then I can throw images up, or we can just use it for video purposes, music purposes. But that will just kind of enhance everything else. And then, yeah, I just wanted an accent wall, so I decided to make a stone wall. And I didn't know how to do that, so I've been teaching myself over the last 2 months. And here's where we're at. But yeah, that's kind of it. It's been a really fun project. And it all just started because we didn't know what we wanted to do in the back room. But once we chose the flooring, and we got this stone look kind of flooring, which you can't really see. I guess if I move this guy, you can kind of see it down here. It's this like gray stone one, like stone tiling. So it's been great. Oh, that's not good. Noticing small imperfections. I mean, over time, the tiles, expand and grow, and I'm noticing imperfections. Hey, it was my first time installing a floor, and it looks pretty damn good. Once everything gets in here and all the furniture's on the ground, it's going to obviously warp it, but I can fix that later. When will you be doing a campaign? So everything is scheduled to be done, hopefully by March, and that's mainly because the gaming table is going to cost me the most. I'm probably going to have to wait till next year to get that. Maybe around, like tax refund season. Maybe that will be a good time for that. I should be able to get the bar finished by the end of this year. And I have been wanting to ramp up what we're doing on stream. Kage and I have been doing a lot of discussions about bringing High Point onto stream and how we're going to do that. So I think, if anything, if it doesn't happen sooner, this is going to be the catalyst to that. I think once this gets finished, now that we've hit affiliate, now that we're really hitting a good stride in what we're doing, and I'm getting more confident in doing stuff like this, part and partial because I don't have to worry about the numbers anymore. Once this is all finished, this is going to open us up to a lot of more opportunities, which is why I changed, because I didn't know what I wanted to actually call it back here. But that's why I kind of went with Misfit Gamers Tavern, because now I can add it as an extension of the stream, and now I can do, we can do board game nights on stream. We can do game testing on stream. Which not only is going to be beneficial because then we can expand, Misfit Gamer Studios out of just D&D, because I don't ever want to stop D&D discussions. That will always be a twice a week thing, right? Like we're not going to stop doing that. But what I do want to do is open up the opportunity for more YouTube content, more like subscriber and VIP content, and just in general, I want to just expand more into optional days, because there's going to be a time and place that's going to work for Kage and I to add days to the stream, right? I might start going and streaming regularly on Sundays or on Saturdays or on Thursday nights, right? And if I start to do that, we don't want all of the extra stuff to just be focused on D&D. If it doesn't need to be, right? Like we'll expand D&D discussions if it needs to. If we need to do more reviews and stuff, we'll be expanding as we go. But I think once this gets completed back here, I know for sure once I get it all done, I've already mapped out where I'm going to have like permanent cameras set up. So I do know like right over here, I'll have a permanent camera set up to be a top-down view to the table. So then that way I can, show off. I mean, I can do game nights. I can show off board games. I can show off pool. We'll do poker nights. I'm probably going to end up having a camera right up here facing just this way. So again, you'll have kind of like a display view. So even if we do like a podcast in here, what'll be really nice is we'd be able to all sit like on this side of the table on the bench and then talk to a camera over on that side. And then I'm really, I don't know why, but I'm really loving what I call high cam. I'm loving this cam setup. So I may also have a permanent cam set up that just does this whole room like this. I just don't know now that I have that one up over there. I don't know if I'd want this one showing the game table, or if I'd want a high cam on that side of that side showing the bar. But again, it's the problem with the windows. So I think I might end up just doing one above the bar, and then I've also thought about doing one top down on my bar, so I can start doing like D&D drinks. I've thought about doing like, you know, D&D cocktail kind of stuff. So yeah, just trying to figure out what we can do to expand the things that we're doing here, because Misfit Gamers Studios was always supposed to be more than D&D, but again, the D&D is going to be our bread and butter always. This is all supposed to just be additive stuff, and it also makes me feel more motivated instead of just creating a game room for, you know, my house. Just like, hey, I have a game room with a pool table, and I'll invite friends once in a while. This will make it have much more of a purpose, and I'll feel much better about completing it and utilizing it, since I'll feel like it has a dual role. Traveler, Mothership, Savage Worlds, Gruffs, Twilight 2000. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the cool thing, is like I already have, you know, a bunch of games, and then you know, for a long time, my wife and I would just collect games. Like we have so many board games, some of them we haven't even played yet, not just the unopened ones, but we haven't even played some of them simply because we like to, you know, travel. We'll go to game stores, and then we'll just pick up cool games that look cool. There was like a couple of years there where we would pick up a new game like every couple months, and I want to get back into that. But the problem with that is playing them. And I think, again, now with a game room, with inviting people and being able to host more, and with the stream, all of those things combined, having a game room for it, being able to host friends, and having the stream set up, I think is going to push us to get back into that. We really want to test, because the thing is we like all the games we play, but my wife and I are big on, we like to just learn new games and try new games and play new games. So that's kind of the thing, is like, we got to a point where it's like we have a bunch of games that we don't play anymore, but that's kind of like what we like to do. So having it to bring on to stream, I think is going to be so much more fun, because we can expand some of the special guests to like some of our larger friends group, and depending on who wants to, you know, join in, we can try to find, you know, what games work, distance wise, so we can even do games with subscribers. So like there might be certain ways we can do you know, certain games, like let's say if there's a certain game that just requires a D6 dice roll whenever you do something, we can live stream someone through Discord. We can have them roll a D6 on their side, show us what the die roll is, and then we can just move their character on the board based on what they want to say, right? So we can actually involve other people in that too. So yeah, all of that's coming down the line. Most of that's probably going to happen next year. Kind of this is going to be that catalyst, because we'll have a space for it. Put high cam in the middle of the room and one below it in front of the table. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, is like I will definitely have the one right above the table and then one on the wall. Because those two I think will be the mainstream ones. I kind of like the one above the bar just for if we're just hanging out and I just want to hang out on stream, kind of like right now, right? I'll have a multi-cam going. Maybe I'll have one down on the bar, one down on the gaming table, one up top. But I want to have a couple different options, because like right now I'm limited because that guy way over there, straight across the room, that one is a tablet just up on, you can't really see it on any of these. Yeah, it's just my tablet up on a stand. And then this guy here and that guy up there are my normal stream cams for Kage and I. Those are our normal ones. This one's the one that normally points at me, and I've attached that one up there that normally points at him. And then, of course, this is the laptop I'm streaming on. So it's a janky setup, but it works. But I like being able to come in here and do work, and, you know, just be on stream and kind of hang out, and, you know, like be able to answer questions for people and get ideas or talk about what's, you know, coming down. So I make sure I know the future plans for this room. That's still sticky, so we're going to let that go for a little bit longer. I'm waiting for the glue to dry so I can continue doing that. You're making a rule light TTRPG. That sounds interesting. Kage and I have actually decided to do something kind of fantastic. It's nothing big right now. It's probably going to be a couple years in the making, but I think I've maybe decided because you know how like every like after a while, like streamers kind of want to do something. You know, I've seen some do like subscription-based stuff. Some produce like a product, like you know, like coffee or something like that. But you know, the more I've been thinking about it, we came up with this idea last week or a week or 2 weeks ago, and I've been stuck on it. And I think we can really, make it happen. And I think what we're going to end up trying to do is I want us to publish basically what I'm going to call the advanced DMG. And essentially what it is if you have a regular Dungeons & Master guide that teaches you the base rules and how to be a DM and how to play D&D, what I want to do is make an alternative. I want to make a DMG, an advanced DMG, that helps people with alternative rules and how to basically like using our motto of going beyond the book. We want to make a DMG for it's like, okay, now you've learned how to be a DM. Now you've done this for a while and you want to go one extra step, right? You want to take all of the skills you've learned, you want to take what you've learned from the book, but you want to make it yours. You want to make something custom, or you just want to be able to make it more unique. We're thinking about actually compiling all of the stuff that we talk about, all of the techniques and the tips that we've talked about, the stuff that has been shared with us. And I want to basically compile that into a book that we can publish that will be for DMs that will, they'll have a whole chapter on, say, combat, right? And it'll be, in that entire chapter, we'll talk about things like alternative uses for HP, right? So it's like, we'll talk about here's what you were taught to do. And then, here's several different variations of how to use HP to make the game feel more dynamic. Here's variations on how to deal with action economy based on the edition that you're using. I want to have a whole chapter on like how to apply different edition rule sets to other editions, right? Like how I have a foundation in second edition, but use other edition stuff. I want to talk about how to like utilize that and make it tangible. So yeah, we're hoping that someday that will happen. But I'm curious what you mean when you say rule light TTRPG. Are you just saying like when you say rule light, do you mean simplified as in it's going to be easy to understand, easy to pick up, and there's not going to be a lot of rules? Or do you mean rule light as in, oh, that's not supposed to happen. Hang on. Yeah, I'm just curious, like when you say rule light, I was trying to think of like, does that just mean simple, or does that mean the rules won't be as hard and fast? So rule light as in the rules will be, for the most part, here's a direction we suggest you go, but it's a loose rule. So I can see it kind of taking both connotations, and that sounds really interesting. Hang on a second. Hey, no, that's... That is where glue has been dripping, Cat. Why must you always sit and lay down? Okay, you don't have any glue on you. Can you just chill? You can't just hang out in a good spot. You always have to be somewhere that you're not supposed to. Rules will be fast and simple. Can you give me any examples? I mean, I'm not trying to like, don't give us any spoilers, but I'm just curious if like, do you have any examples of what you might be using in terms of fast and simple? Because I do like that. I definitely feel like there can be even an alternative rule set to D&D to help make it more fast-paced and quicker for people to pick up. But I like the idea of like a whole TTRPG based around that. It's one of the things that Kage and I want to do is like test other TTRPGs, figure out what their complexities are. One of the ones I'm really, really interested in that I feel kind of leans more in that direction that you're going, at least in comparison to D&D, is the Call of Cthulhu series. I'm really curious to try that out and see what their rule sets are actually like, because I've only seen it briefly represented, but I haven't actually read into them yet. I gotta start prepping this stuff. Okay, so break off all of that. Break off all of that. That's why we have crappy workflows. Basically using one die the entire time and a ranking system for your stats. Interesting, okay. I kind of like that. That's definitely simplified. One die makes it more tangible for a lot of people. Ratings are SBAC. Okay. Tab City. Also known as the tier list. Very valid usage system. I think everybody's pretty familiar with it. Everyone likes, you know, the tiers process. What am I doing? Okay, I'm waiting for that to dry. Let me go check the glue again. By the way, Freeman, I know I don't think you were here on Monday, so I don't think you really have any like comparison. But how does the audio quality sound to you? For me, I mean, obviously it's nowhere near normal quality, but for me being on a Bluetooth headset, how bad is it? Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you. The higher the rank, the easier success. Oh, okay. So it's kind of like if you were using like a D20, if you had an S, you'd have to roll over an 8, but if you had an A, it'd be over a 10. If you had a B, it'd be over a 12 kind of thing, right? So the harder the success roll would be to hit. I like that. That actually makes it super easy, right? Like super easy, because then at that point, no one really has to worry about doing math and bonuses and mods. It's just, oh, you're an S class in this particular case, or you're just overall an S class. It's this number or higher. D12, okay, that's nice. It's a very underutilized die. I think everybody has a D12, but no one uses it. Like even D&D rarely uses a D12, so I like that. What do we? Oh yeah. Do I feel like this is strong enough? I'm gonna wait a little bit on that one. Let me how about this? I will get these guys moved, or these guys affixed, and then we'll deal with that. How about that? Okay. So I don't have a down cam this time, so I can't really explain the process, because last time I had like a down cam right here to show you what was on the table. But basically, this is a little bit of a different process, because now, unlike before where I was using warm water on the plaster cloths to dip and then go on to the molds that were made in foil, this has to be done with basically cold or room temperature water. And you basically have to mix it with a plaster of Paris till we get roughly what is a what you would consider a milkshake consistency, and then that can go on the wall. But the problem is you have about a 5. They say like 6 or 7 minute working time. Like once you mix it, you have about 5, 6, or 6, 7 minutes. But I find that complete BS, because the entire time you're mixing, the counter has started. So if you don't mix it perfectly the first time, and you have to add in a little bit more, you're burning time. So I say you get 3 to 5 minutes of working time at best, until this stuff just becomes unusable. So I get the water in first, because I have learned that if you do powder first, you end up using way too much powder, and then you end up over making it, and then you end up using too much. So I end up putting a little bit of water in first, fill the power until I get enough, and then all I'm going to do is come through here, and whatever I have taped down, I'm just going to come into the opposite sides, kind of just glue it down, get it on the wall like everything else is, so I can remove the tape, and then that way I can just see what I have left, because there's a couple items that I need to do, but eventually I have to go in through all of it. But this just helps me get everything on the wall that I need. So there's powers, agilities, insight, and psyche. Okay. Oh, prowess. Oh, I like that, prowess. I have the base rules. I'm going to be adding to it later. If you'd like to try it, I can send you a copy. Yeah, when you get done with it, just because we probably won't be testing it out like on stream or anything, but if you would like that, again, that is something that we want to expand into, is testing out other TTRPGs. I know Kage would be absolutely all over that. So when you're comfortable with it, or at least comfortable with a usable copy, if you do send that to us, I 100% can guarantee you we will try it. I can't guarantee when, but we would definitely like to try it once you have a usable copy. That sounds really nice. I already like the direction you're going with the skill sets. It does remind me, I don't know if you've looked into the Call of Cthulhu TTRPG at all, but like the psyche aspect kind of it gives me that kind of vibe because they have like insanity meters and stuff where you can start to go insane based off the stuff that's happening around you. So funny enough, this entire project, this entire wall, everything I learned is I try to do some research on it, and there's a lot of different ways to do it, but this particular process, I learned from reading one blog. I just kind of read what they wrote, tried to figure out what I thought it meant, and then here's where we are. So I think it's working out. I think it was good enough directions to understand. There was a couple of things I didn't quite get until, you know, you actually do it, and then you're like, oh, that's what they meant, but, you know, it's fine. I don't think I said anything wrong. It just definitely there were some parts where I'm like, that's not how I would have said it, just because that didn't really make this sense that I think you thought it meant. You know, like after I've done it, I'm like, okay, I see. Now that made a lot more sense why you said it that way. But when I was doing it, that's not exactly how it came out or how it came across. This is one of those hard parts is like, I didn't want to just do one of these, but now I'm going to have to hold this one in place while some of this stuff on the back side of it dries. Okay, perfect. Yeah, like I said, the stuff dries very quickly. So while it's like, okay, it's not going to take that long for that piece right there to dry while I'm holding it, the rest of the stuff in here is going to dry. And if I don't hurry up and like, you know, start working on another piece, then this is going to be a problem. Okay, so try to put it on so it sticks, but we don't want to ruin any of the detail that we've made with the mold. So you also kind of got to be careful, like where you place it to where it doesn't distort your mold. Hold that in there a little bit. A little bit of that there. Nope. Yep, already getting hard enough to scoop out of here. It's already becoming like clay-like, which is not bad because it's still malleable, but it's difficult when you need to like spread it from the stick. The clay is much better when you had to have it like in the situation that you want. You need to mold it like a specific piece, but I have that luxury, so I'm just gonna have to kind of brute force it. Yeah, it is already becoming. We went from a milkshake to clay. We are now dealing with a very soft clay, and in about 30 seconds, it's going to be hard clay, and maybe 30 seconds later, it's going to be unusable. So we're going to have to. That's not how I wanted to do it, but. Gonna have to be how that way is done. Okay, so I made just enough to where I'm not going to waste too much. I think I'm just going to use the rest of it. This. I'm losing time. Oh yeah, it's now we're dealing with hard clay. Like I'm thinking like the clay you get when you go to like those places that you can paint, like you can make stuff and then they'll seal it for you or kiln it for you and then you can paint them later. Kind of like that kind of hard clay now. Okay. Just like that, it's pretty much dry. All right. And now there's not that much mess in here, so I can do another round, but normally after a while I have to wait for all of that inside to dry, and then I can get in there with another batch. But right now I think I can go in with another batch real quick. Does Kage have his own channel? No, Kage does not stream outside of this currently. He doesn't have a setup at all, but I have a feeling that, and he also has like his own like personal plans for like career and stuff. So this is kind of definitely a hobby worth doing while he has the opportunity. But I think the longer we go, I would imagine it will have crossed his mind if it hasn't already. I imagine that if we continue to be successful and I can get him set up with a system to do his own channel, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up doing it. He does like to do stuff with coding, and in the real world. So I've thought about him being able to do his own like channel while he learns how to code. He can, have people watching, because I know that's a big thing where people just stream anything. So I think he has a chance at it, but whether or not he wants to pursue that is going to be, I think, a question for maybe 2 years from now. I think it'll depend on watching the success of this and the ease of doing this. You call yours Guerrilla RPG? Ooh, that just so you're like, is it like guerrilla warfare kind of stuff? Oh, making it off Total Recall and Half-Life? What? Okay. Yeah, I want at least bare minimum. If you don't give me the rule sets, I at least want a little bit more on that lore. That sounds phenomenal. No, let me finish. I got 2 more pieces. Let me just finish those 2 quick pieces, and then I'll go finish more of that stuff over there. Okay, that's another box down. Okay, that wasn't enough water, so now we're in that danger zone of making too much. And I think we may have. Yeah, so now this is the problem, is if you add too much powder and then accidentally add too much water, now you have to add more powder, because now it's not the right consistency. But adding more powder means you make more of the batch, which means you have more stuff to use in the same amount of time, and you don't usually have a lot of time to mix all of this. So I think what I'm going to do is, instead of worrying about thickening it, I just have to keep stirring it and just wait some time. It'll thicken itself. It's not the best use of my time, but it is a better alternative than wasting more stuff. But what I could use this for, because this is more or less the consistency I'm going to want when we do the cover of everything. So I guess I could practice with that a little bit. But yeah, that's really just going to be what we're going to have. This is kind of that consistency we're going to need when we want to do. Yeah, we want to fill all of these potholes in. Or when I want to do that, like fill in gaps that are on top of something. Oh, I can let that just drip in. That's actually working really well. Oh, that's okay. So this isn't completely useless. It's just not the best for sticking something to the wall, but this is definitely going to be good for making things smooth out. Let's go ahead and test the drip method again. Oh yeah, that actually. Yeah, I think this is actually going to be somewhat of a better consistency when I do all of the seams, because this will like blend into the seams a little better. Yeah, that's working really nicely. Okay, so learn something new every day. I have just now learned a better way to use this plaster for the later part. It's not helping me too much with the part that I'm working on now, but it definitely will continue to help later, so that's good, I guess. But now the plaster is finally, I mean, you can see it's been not even a few minutes, but we're already getting to the consistency that I wanted to before. So it didn't take long for this to become that milkshake from, you know, watered down, not helpful. Okay, so I still have a little bit of this left. So what can I had one over here? Yes, this one. This one's been unmarked for a while, so I just want to get this thing finally fixed properly. Yeah, we definitely can't do another mix in this because we're now at that point to where there's too much in here to even properly stir it. So I can barely get out the good stuff in here at this point. So we're just gonna finish. And then we're gonna have a few minute break because then we're gonna have to wait for this whole can to dry before I can get all the crap out of it and restart. That's the one downside about this whole process and why it's been taking me so long is stuff like this, right? I get to a point to where I'm like, oh, I now know how all of this works. And then I get to this point to where I'm like, oh, I know how it works. And it's gonna take me forever because this stuff dries so quickly. I can't use a mixer, I have to mix it by hand. I can't, you know, if I had a bunch of cans, I could probably do it quicker because I could just use, you know, can after can, but that's a lot of material. But simple as this. But as you can see, that half of the wall now has no more tape. I have a little bit down here that y'all can't see from the table side. Maybe you can see it. There's like a few right here, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Let me get some water. Yeah, this is this has turned out to be a fun project. I don't, you know, I have no idea how the final product is going to look. Like sometimes I look at this and I'm like, man, this is going to look great when it's all done. And then other times I get too close and I'm like, am I going to be able to make this look even at all realistic? But I think the big thing will come down to when we get into the sanding. I think that's going to be the big turning point. Is once I get all of the seams done, if I can do the wet sanding properly and get all of this, because I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but like this stuff just looks very obviously out of place. But if I can sand this down and get it smoothed out, especially if I do a coating over everything, we should be okay. That coating should give everything a little bit of a smoother look, and then the wet sanding should just be able to help refine it a little bit. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that everything will turn out just fine. But who knows? Who knows? Right, let me go check on this board over here and see what's going on. All right. You know, not as not as stable as I want them to be yet. Surprisingly enough, but it's not super warm today, so it's all right. It's only 1 o'clock. I mean, we've been going for an hour. I know those things have been on there for at least that long. So if I had more clamps, it would go a lot faster. But that's the thing, is I don't have clamps. Oh, I will say this room has cost me way more than I ever expected it to. I mean, I guess not that. I guess that's a little bit of an exaggeration. The building this wall cost me more than I thought it would doing it by myself. I wasn't expecting. I guess it's not that the materials were more expensive than I was expecting. I think the amount of material that I needed was the problem. I think that when I thought about what I needed, I was like, okay, it can't be, like, the materials aren't that much, and I won't need that much of each material. And then it quickly became I need do another order, and I still need to do another order. I think I ended up doing 3 or 4 orders of materials, like 3 or 4 times, just because every time I tried to predict how much more I would need, just was off by a lot. So that's all right. Yep, I did cut myself. Lovely. Make sure that cut's not too bad, so I don't have to stop. No. It was only a flesh wound. All right, so we can get back to business. Now I'm going to get those ones done. Okay. I'm going to get this wall done, and then I should be able to get onto the shelf, do the next thing of the shelf, and then start on the doorway. Getting there. Like Bumper and Donald, we getting it. A pitch perfect reference for all of you. Okay, I don't need that anymore. Let's open up a new one. That's what I don't have today. I don't have any beer. I usually have a beer when I'm working, like on projects like this. But the only reason last time I had beer is because Kage came over and he grabbed beer on the way over. So bad planning on my part. All right. Listen, that's great content. Me sitting on the floor behind stuff that y'all can't see. Excellent. People are going to come by this stream and be like, is that a dude sitting on the floor behind a table? I'm staying. This is just my kind of content, you know what I'm saying? Sitting on the floor, some lo-fi. What more could you ask for? You know what I mean? Who needs a video game? Well, I kind of got to hold this one piece. I'm going to just hold it down with the bowl while it dries. And try to get this piece equally stuck. Okay. That's looking better. There we go. Luckily, I don't gotta worry too much about how it looks right now. I just gotta get the stuff on here. Because again, once I come back through, we're gonna have the luxury of sanding all of it down. So as long as I don't cover up the fact that there is a major feature there, I should be able to use sanding process to even it out a lot more. It's becoming unusable already. Alright, guys, any chance that this last little bit is clay and like enough for me to use it? Precious little time, but I think it is. Now I've got to do the really fun part, which I have to ditch my rings for. As it gets to a point where it's so clay-like, if you're going to use it, the best chance you have is with your hands. So like with this piece. Literally, I get a few precious seconds to where I can mold it, press it, and actually have it stick like clay before it becomes too hard, brittle, and just starts flaking everywhere. Like it's doing right now. If we get it just right, just enough. And this is basically what I imagine we're going to be doing when we're wet sanding it. So yeah, so once it gets to that point, you can see it just becomes, I don't know if you can see that, but it becomes useless, just chunks of rock. Just get harder and harder as you go. All right, so. Nice thing is once it dries, it just comes right off your skin, so too easy. Oh. Yeah. Good stuff about plasters. It hates water. Needs it, but hates it at the same time. All right. So with that being all done, I should be able to remove that one. That one. And that one. Along with that one. Just that one. Cool. We're getting there. We just got 2 more pieces on this side, and then a handful of pieces on that side. We making good time. Making good time. All right. All right, so now I have to wait for this thing to dry again. Actually, no, maybe I don't. This part, I have to wait for it to dry a little bit more. The stick needs to dry more. Well, I guess this is probably a good time to go check the glue. The glue should be good now. Yeah, glue looks good. This guy down a little bit. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, so talking about it's probably not that useful, but more for me. But I need to figure out. Don't want to drip glue all over my finger. Or two. So. Okay. Things are looking good so far. All right. I think doing these brackets or the clamps closer together is definitely helping. think I was doing them too far apart before. So it's just going to take me longer to do it, but it will be better. Universal Rule Light RPG. I kind of like that, though. I like the idea of having kind of like your own setting, or at least your own rule base, but keeping the rules flexible enough to basically be told under any narrative or used under any narrative. Because I noticed that when it comes to like with the community creations, when Kaga and I review homebrew that y'all have sent in, one of the things that we've noticed is the reason why we switched over to doing submission or showcasing is we haven't gotten a lot of submissions that are very campaign specific, setting specific, or aren't as generally universal. And it's nice to showcase those, right? But I think that while things can be built for certain settings and certain reasons, I think there's still a room for them to be able to be utilized elsewhere, be universal enough to be actually acceptable, to be like, hey, I can use at least part of that mechanic somewhere else. So yeah, definitely kind of cool that you're doing that approach to be able to have it approached by any narrative. Why did I do that? Probably wanted to drink. Probably why. Don't have is it beer. Beer's not good for you. I mean, neither is alcohol. Alcohol is not good for you, but beer's fattening. At least with alcohol, it's only not good for your health. But your physique, not that bad for. As bad. I should say it as bad. Problem is, I'm running out of bottles that I can justifiably use. I've had a bunch of bottles either purchased or gifted to me. Either I purchased or gifted to me to the bar, but I don't want to finish any of them until the bar's officially open. So I've only drank most of them to like half bottles, and then yeah, I get half bottles and then that's it. So pretty sure most of mine are done. Yeah, one of those is the backyard. One of those is for the bar. So I can't open those yet. That's like the thing. Like these are all great. These are all great drinks. This is probably the one I'm going to finish because this one's like the cheapest. Yeah, I can easily replace. Bullet Bourbon's easy to replace. All these other ones are too nice. Though I did find out recently I do, at least can, enjoy gin. I used to not like gin. There wasn't one that I liked until recently. Someone gifted me a bottle, and even straight, I enjoyed it. Not immensely, but it wasn't the most horrible thing in terms of my previous experiences. And it made one of the best gimlets I had ever had in my life. And I usually don't make good cocktails, so the fact that I was able to make one of the best ones I've ever had tells me it was all about the liquor. So I'm going to have to get another bottle of that because it's almost gone. But, yeah, I feel like a drink real quick before we continue. Because this is almost ready to go. Okay, I lied. It is ready to go. You know what? Let's do the smart thing. Let's give ourselves a goal before we go make a cocktail. I got to finish this side of the wall first. So let me get this one done, and then I'll go make myself a cocktail real quick. And by cocktail, I probably just mean... No, actually, no. I can do a whiskey sour. Yeah, I'll do whiskey sour. I got stuff for that. But first, let me take a selfie. Let's go. That was way too much. Yeah, for what I'm about to do, that was way too much. So Freeman, if you're still there, I don't know if you saw the updates in the Discord, but we did finally launch on all social media platforms. So you can find Misfit Gamer Studios everywhere. We don't do a lot of posting on most of them, but we are posting shorts on YouTube and TikTok. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to catch those yet. I was just curious. I haven't gotten a chance since because we really only started posting last week, so I haven't really had a chance to get any community feedback. Obviously, we don't have a lot posted, and we're in the beginning phases of trying to figure out how to post content, because right now it's more about discoverability than it is about like quality content. Like I'm not trying to I'm taking a back seat to worrying about YouTube episodes right now, and I'm primarily focusing on short and clip generation, so we can at least get some just discoverability and get our name out there, and get some relatability. Just some people recognition is the word I was looking for. But yeah, I'm just curious what the community thinks so far, and if they're hyped for more. If obviously I'm going to want to know more as we go about like what the community wants to see in terms of the shorts. Like, do they want us to start focusing? That they want the shorts or the clips to focus on different topics? Do they like the kind of randomness that we're doing right now? Because yeah, it's going to take so much more time for me to learn and get into being able to do YouTube like long form. So I'm taking like a back seat to really going that stage with it, and just trying to just think of, well, right now we just made affiliate, we really just need to get comfortable with that, and we just need to get comfortable growing. So I figure at least with shorts, I don't have to, it's TikTok, I don't have to like sit there and be a master editor or anything. I just have to pay attention to what the content is actually trying to display, and is it telling is it giving the right branding for what I want people to think of when they come to the stream. That's really what I'm focusing on right now, is just quality control, and does it make sense for what they saw, and then when they end up going stream. Because I've done that before, where I've seen people's like shorts. I'll go to their page and I'm like, this short doesn't really represent what you did. It was like, it did not really it gave me the wrong impression. And that's, I think, my biggest thing right now with the shorts and with other and just with content in general, is I'm much more concerned about the flow, right? Like I want what you see in one to be what you see in the other. I don't want to be misleading or just off-brand, right? It's all about, we talk about this on stream all the time, just like with D&D. It's all about consistency for us, right? And I don't want to have a shorts page that, suggests one type of content, and then turn around, they come to the live stream, and, it's something different, right? Like, I don't want my shorts to be all, like, the most funniest moments, people thinking that, we're all jokes and comedy, and they come in and say, oh, well, this is boring, like, this isn't what your shorts are all about. Like, that would, I guess that would be probably, like, the closest thing I think could end up happening, is, we focus too much, or I do too many shorts about, say, homebrew review. And so people come in and they're like, oh, these guys, that's what they do. It's like, all they do is talk about homebrew. So they come in on a Friday and we're doing, the history of pondering your orb. And it's like, well, where's the homebrew? So that's kind of what we want to stay away from. And there we go. See? So I have all of this I made too much of. You saw how quickly I was working on that. All of that. Oh. There's so much that I can't use now. But yeah, so I think I just was trying to bite off too much when I was talking about making YouTube content. It's like, I'm teaching myself how to edit. I'm using some programs to help me generate some clips as well. Just because editing is a lot. And I don't know really what the direction is. Like, I just realized that as I'm editing, looking at the clips I was able to generate and looking at the bigger stuff I was trying to edit, it's just that it's obvious I don't have the skill sets yet. And while I'm learning them, I've realized that the goal for social media right now is growth, right? We just need people to know who we are. We don't need people to, you know, I don't need a YouTube channel that's educating people. I need a YouTube channel that points people to the stream. And that's kind of where we're at right now, is deciding that there'll be a day when the YouTube channel deserves its own focus, right? Like there'll be a day where we'll be putting out content to the point where we'll push people to YouTube for our YouTube content, and we'll push people to Twitch for our Twitch content. And that's the goal, right? The goal is eventually to have kind of a different feel. Like it's going to still mostly be from the live stream, but YouTube will be its own monster. Twitch will be its own, you know, monster, its own entity. But for right now, the only entity really is Twitch. So instead of trying to build that second persona, it's more about just getting people recognizing us. People need to know who we are. Oh. All right, I think it's whiskey shower time. I'll do the good thing and finish my water first. Always hydrate, kids. And the beautiful part is I can still chit chat with you even though I'm out of the room. Oh. Let's find out what we need. Let's get a nice glass. Get a piece of ice because, you know, who doesn't want fancy ice in their cocktail? Get some crushed ice to do the actual cocktail with. I'm not even sure how much mix I have, but we're gonna find out. Hopefully we'll have just the right amount. Oh, we do. You know what? Oh. Man, more than was needed, but ooh, that's fine. That's fine. A little bit of a bartender shop there, and no one's the wiser. All right, so pretty simple whiskey sour. Nothing amazing. It's basically just a whiskey margarita. Fun fact, a very cheap and easy whiskey sour if you're ever wanting to try one that's not quite what you're going to get at a bar, but you want something that's a little bit more flavorful, is just using whiskey instead of tequila with margarita mix, because it makes it close enough. That's like close to a whiskey sour. And usually you don't need a lime. I don't know why I did that. I'm glad you guys can't see what I just did. Big bartender faux pas. I was measuring out my drink, or my ounces, and for my jicker I went into my serving glass and not my shaker. Doesn't need that. Doesn't really need any of that. You know what? I will give it, because I'm weird, I'm gonna give it a splash spice. Like I said, because I'm weird. And I have these amazing Hara peppers that I got from some friends for a Bloody Mary mix. And they taste so good that I'm going to use a little bit of that for this whiskey sour. And hey, once this is all said and done, I won't have to leave the room to do this. I'll be able to do this from behind that bar over there. Well, I don't have a bar yet, but when I get a bar. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Exactly what we want to see. So the one downside I've noticed, though, is every time I make a cocktail, I immediately rinse out my shaker. And I don't have any water pumping into that back room. So one of the things I am going to have to very seriously think about once the bar is done, because it's going to be mostly modular, is whether or not I want to add a wet bar or just a basin system to where I can bring in water to do quick rinsing. Because that is going to be one of the most annoying things, is to make drinks and then have to leave the room all the way to my kitchen. Luckily the kitchen's right there, but leave the room, come all the way back. So here we are. My nice whiskey sour. I think it's looking fantastic. Nice little tad bit of foam. Ooh, yeah. And that spice right in the background. I don't know about y'all, but whenever I go to a restaurant, if they have like a spicy margarita, like a jalapeno or habanero margarita, or even like if they have the jalapeno martinis as well, I will always gravitate towards those. Try them if you can. This is kind of like that, just a little bit more mild. I didn't make it too spicy, but yeah. Spicy whiskey sour, y'all. I'm gonna have to consider this to be a D&D drink. I want to do that once we have the bar set up. I want to do like, you know, D&D inspired cocktails. That might be one. Spicy whiskey sour. That is so good. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta slow down. Don't want to get trashed. All right. Hi, do you have to be under the dripping glue? You can hang out up here, but you don't need to be on the glue. My cat will basically lay on anything you put down that looks like a blanket. So he sees the towel on the floor and I was like, oh my god, it's a blanket. My bed. Like, no, that's right where glue is going to drip. Okay, so voila, voila, viola, viola. All right. So we are close. We are close to at least completing today's objective, which is getting everything up on the wall. We're making good time. I'm just gonna have to spend so long, meticulously going through each and every one of these crevices. And I'm considering letting, I have a 3-day weekend coming up, and I'm considering doing that next week, because then I could do that Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and I can spend all day, both days, just filling all of this in, because then the next weekend I can do the actual, like, just spend the whole weekend sanding it down. So, how long have we been going for? Only an hour and a half. Feels like longer. I'm assuming that's going to take me another hour to get that back corner done. All right, well, let's get the top of the frame. Okay, so I think the instructions that I got were mildly incorrect. I don't think you want to go till you reach the melted milkshake or the melted ice cream stage. I think you want to go before that, almost to pancake batter, and let it set into those other stages. Because if you go too thick, you have much less time to work with it. Oh, drip right into my nose. Yeah, you have a lot less time to work with it. Whereas if you go this thinner route, you can do a lot more of the mild stuff that will help in the long term, and then wait for it to fully cure through before you worry about like the big stuff you're supposed to be doing with it. Like this, like I'm just trying to, I can use this really thin stuff to push it into the holes on this edge and get it attached to the wall while I'm worried, like while I'll worry for like, I know you guys can't see it, but like on the top here, it's pulling away from the wall. So I'll wait for the thicker stuff to worry about that. But this stuff down on the bottom corner, that's not worried, and that's not like sticking to the wall. I can just push that right through the holes here in the plaster cloth. That'll grip to the wall, and then as it dries, since it's not pulling away, I don't have to do anything to it. And actually, yeah, this is making it so much nicer. And again, it's teaching me how thin I can make this stuff while it's still usable, so this is going to help me when I want to clear up all those holes. Also, the more I work with this, the more I'm less concerned about the stitch marks, like the in-between where all of the plaster cloths meet. Like up close and probably even on camera, you can see a lot of the stitching, a lot of the in-betweens, but the more I work with this stuff in its thinner form, the more I'm confident we're going to be able to overcome it. No problem. I'm losing a bit of elasticity here, but that's okay. What we do is this. Put it underneath the piece, and then we smash it on it, and then we go over the top of it. So it's not only really adhering to the wall with what will eventually be nearly like cement. Then we go on top of it, sandwich that crease in between the wall, the part that's adhering to the wall, the part that's adhering to the piece next to it, and voila, we have a very tight seal. Funny thing is, like, I'm explaining all of this, but due to camera angles, I have absolutely no idea if anything I'm saying is making sense. At the hand stage again. All right, just as before, I'm going to put that on by hand. I'm going to do the same with the right here in this corner. Didn't quite work in that top corner, but that's fine. Luckily, I made just enough to use to where I'm not burning a whole bunch anymore. I think when I first did this, I had 3 of these guys when I first started, and I used all 3 for like just this section right here. And now I'm able to do like, I did the rest of this wall with 2 of them. So definitely depends a lot on how you apply it and how you use it. So what specifically do we put? I'm putting in the AMG. Oh yeah, I think you might have walked away when I was explaining it. Yeah. So basically, what I want to do is I want to make chapters that essentially each chapter discusses, initially discusses the fundamental rules as written. So one of my examples is like we'll have a whole chapter on like combat and hit points, and it'll start off with kind of like your initial kind of chapter information on, here's the expectation, here's what the DMG prefaces you with, or at least preps you for, here's the expectation, for the players, right? But the advanced DMG will be about like rule variations, alternate rulings, or just different ways to think about things and examples and techniques on how to go beyond just what rules as written has and make things a little bit more unique, make them more attainable, or at least just in general make them feel beyond the same level that everybody feels like, hey, I've done this for a while, but I don't feel like it's unique. So, each chapter will initially kind of just snapshot what's the expectation, where people are at, whatever is the norm, and then it'll go into alternative, rulings, rule sets, or just descriptions that will help people understand it better. Like we've done a whole episode on talking about how hit points are really misrepresented in D&D and not really properly discussed in the DMG or the player's handbook, and the way that they're used don't really represent what HP means in D&D, and it doesn't really represent what's actually happening. So we, in advanced DMG, we would probably go into a whole section on describing further what HP represents, alternatives to how to understand it, and then discuss how else you can make HP represent what's actually happening, and then give alternative rule sets. Like I'm developing one for High Point, the new way that HP will work in High Point in the near future once I fine-tune it, is that I'm going to have it to where it's a fatigue-based system instead of a like physical damage base, because I don't like the idea that it's just it represents a 1-to-1 of damage. So more detailed in description. Yeah, more detailed in description, alternate rules, alternate rule variations, and tips and tricks for DMs on how to, either take things from other editions and how to apply them to whatever edition you're using, or how to make something custom, either from scratch. We might have a whole chapter on homebrewing, right? And it'll start out with how do you modify rules of, rules as written. How would you modify that to maintain balance, right? And then it would go into, well, how do you take something as inspiration and make something similar but not exact? And then we'd go the final step in that chapter, which is how do you build something from scratch, right? And we talk about balancing, how do you make sure how to approach it, things to think about. So yeah, the idea would just be an advanced DMG that basically takes all of the rule sets of what you know as a DM and gives, and starts to do what we talk about, which is go beyond the book. You know how to use the book, you know how to make rulings, you know how to tell a story. Now here's how to make everything come together in a way that the players haven't seen before, right? How do you tie in your story and the monster manual, right? Everyone knows how to put together an encounter, but we want to talk about, we did this on the stream the other day, right? We'll have a whole chapter on encounters where you know how to put a counter together. You know how to use either the CR, or you have your way of building an encounter. But the ADMG would basically talk about putting things like personality behind the enemies, putting a morale-based system, how to balance out morale in an enemy combat, motives and agenda, right? Like, again, are these people just trying to survive? Like if it's I always use the bandit, right? If you're going to get ambushed by bandits, are these bandits just trying to survive? Because I'm sorry, if those bandits are just trying to survive, I don't quite really see them putting all of their effort into robbing someone that may or may not be able to feed them, right? If they're starving, they're probably looking for easy prey to just get a quick meal, right? Whereas if these are hired assassins, they aren't going to back down for any reason. So having examples like that and discussing the idea that when you're building an encounter, it's more than just what are the powers at stake and what is the what's the challenge to the players. It's also what's the purpose, right? What's the point? What are the enemies going to get if they win? It's putting reasons behind things instead of just putting things in for reasons. But yeah, I want to start developing this because I think with the way that we do D&D discussions and the way that both Kage and I run our games, I think that a lot of our tips and tricks would be better represented that way, because a lot of what we do is very dynamic and there's not a lot of rule sets that we can give people. Like I can't really give people a module for high point. That was always the goal. I think everybody has that when you do D&D stuff. You would love your setting, like Roll20, Critical Role, like all of these people, they created their own settings and rule books, but I don't know if I could ever do that for high point. But what I could do is create the ADMG that teaches people how to do what I do, or at least puts into words the approach that I take to do what I do and make high point what it is. And that's more important to Kage and I than giving you access to high point or the Cineverse and showing you what we've created and having you use what we've created. We'd much rather promote this idea of how to get you there to where your creations are just as fleshed out. So that's we had this conversation on the stream, and ever since then it's basically just been nonstop on my mind about the different chapters that we could write and the different ways that we approach things, because we approach everything in a unique way. And I really think that we could make an entire booklet just on how to approach DMing, to where it's not telling you here's how you have to do it. It's giving you enough ideas to help guide you to make the right decisions for your setting and your narrative. Like Hardmaster, I'm not specific. What did I say? I'm not familiar with Hardmaster.
I don't know.
Intricate storytelling, yeah. And that's the thing too, right? Because that's all D&D is, right? Like we want a whole chapter on, like literally, I want an entire chapter, and I want the chapter title to be called "The DM is a Player." And I literally want an entire chapter where we discuss the importance for the DM to see themselves as a player and not separate from the players, right? Because we've talked about this a lot on stream, where we believe that this is a game that involves everybody. It involves the DM and the players equally. The DM is responsible for the progression, but the players are equally as responsible for the narrative and what happens, right? There's a give and take on both sides, and a lot of the times the DMs find themselves at odds with players, or it's me versus them, but it's a game. Everybody's playing the game, and by definition, that means that you are a player. And therefore, it's that mindset that I think DMs should approach it with is, you should look at this as you're also there to have fun and do some things, but you're also there to be challenged. You were also there to have your players do things that you weren't prepared for. DMs don't like it when unexpected happens and it ruins the narrative or ruins their flow, but that's what they're literally doing every second with the players, right? They're trying to ruin the players' flow and do all of this stuff but they're doing it more linearly because they've already decided everything. But the players aren't playing linearly. They don't know any better. They're thinking dynamically. And I think that there's an argument to be made for DMs to also be much more dynamic. So that's another example of what I want to do in that is talk about those fundamentals that Kage and I bring to the game that I think a lot of people don't talk about, which is, the DM being one of the players, and how to let players help guide the narrative without controlling the narrative. Alternatives to combat, alternatives to magic use, alternatives to the yes and rule, alternatives to saying no, how to put real roadblocks in front of things that you're not comfortable or not ready for, but not tell your players it's not accessible, right? There's so many things that we do that we incorporate that I feel just could make better gameplay, and there's no real one resource for all of that. And I think that's really cool. I think that would be, in all of the ways that we could do it with Misfit Gamer Studios, I just don't think doing a high point module or trying to make a book set based off of high point is the right way to go. I think the direction would be more about giving the knowledge that we have and the experiences that we have and passing that off in ways that people can utilize themselves instead of just take, a to-do list, I guess, is the biggest difference. Oh, that was so tasty. Back to water. Nice little early afternoon, mid-afternoon cocktail. No big deal. Ah, that's such a drastic change. Now we're back to guava sparkling water from a whiskey sour. That's that's a jump. But hey, water's good for you. All right. Perfect. Okay. Getting the hang of this. I want to get that top one finished off. Perfect. Look at that. Okay. Those two now are not only stuck together, but now they are also stuck to the wall. Perfect. Okay. Okay, this is going to be a very ugly corner, but we can fix that up once we get to the sanding phase. What they just care about is that all of this fixed here. I would have preferred that to stick to the wall, but I can also do that underneath this tape later. Yeah, we'll just do that underneath the tape. We won't worry too much about it right now. This other corner done. Just got a little bit left. Should be enough to Oh, yeah. Perfect. Right along there. Perfect. Let's sit here and hold it for a second while it dries. There. Now it won't peel off the wall. Hardmaster is a medieval fantasy sim TTRPG. Interesting. Okay. I'll have to take a look at it. If you can actually drop that in our, I don't know, would that be a suggestions channel? If you can drop that in Discord and remind me to look into that, that'll be one of the TTRPGs we look into. Yeah, suggestions channel. If you pop that in the suggestions channel, or the topics channel, either one, topics or suggestions, under D&D discussions, either topics or suggestions, either one. I don't think we've decided which one we're going to use officially as we move forward, but yeah, those will be perfect for letting us know what TTRPGs to look into, because once we start doing some more YouTube exclusive stuff or even Discord exclusive streams, we want to start doing more of that kind of stuff and looking into rule sets. The hardest part is like most people, that are content creators, they have all day long to sit there and research all that stuff and memorize it and learn all the rules. And for us, most of it's going to be on stream. So it's like we don't want to do too much where, we don't want to have an entire stream where all we're doing is reading the rule sets, but we're not really going to have the time to go and like learn how to play, and then do a live stream where, we have it like, I don't want to say scripted, but, have it to where we're proficient in playing it just out the gate. All right, look at that. Boom, boom, boom. We are almost done. We only have one more round and we will have removed all the tape. And today's goal will be met. Oh my god, cats. Why? Okay, how about this? You can have that towel. I will put a different towel down for the glue. Deal? This cat. Ow, you don't need to bite me. I know you love me, but you don't need to bite me about it. Biting is not how we show love, cat. Stop. We don't have to bite to show love. weirdest cat. He will just bite you, not very hard, but he'll bite you and just hold you in his mouth. And he'll bear hug your hand, not let you move. For no other reason than just to sit there. And then he'll even start closing his eyes, start falling asleep. But he'll still be biting you. Speaking of glue, when is this coming along? Still not quite. Way too much water on this one. I knew I was going to need more because I'm trying to do this all in one go, but that was way too much water. Well, that was a nice technique. I'll have to remember how to do that later. Well, it's not like it's going to matter, but if I ever do this again, that was very useful. And that's why we have drop cloth, to help with the cleaning. Oh no. Running out of usability. Get into that hard hand clay mode, but that's alright. I got this guy right here. That's a perfect candidate for it. Okay. Tried to do that all in one go, didn't work. Fine. Maybe one or two more. Process. Have a good one, Brittman, if you're still here. Have a good rest of your day. I will. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow for the normal homebrew review. So if you're around tomorrow, we'll see you then. If not, I'll catch you later next time. Okay. So we gotta wait for this. Let's check our glue. Glue's not quite ready yet. Ooh, what's going on, everybody? Almost done. At least with today's goal. I did predict it would be about 2.5 hours. I mean, I will be getting the shelves done a little bit later, but that won't necessarily be part of the stream. You know what I'm saying? Hope the audio quality is a lot better today. The highs and the lows should be a lot better. I mean, everything from me talking very low, you guys should be able to hear, even if I'm really whispering. And even if I get really loud, you guys shouldn't have like such drastic differences before. And hopefully, just me in the headset isn't as bad. But big news is that I've also done the same audio checkups in the mainstream room. So the Misfit Gamers Studios should be sounding a lot better here in the next coming streams. Because we were always about improvement. We were always learning, always trying to improve. You can come off. All right, well, we're technically done. We have completed our goal, but I want to get a little bit more on here with some of these, at least back there. And then, yeah, I think I might call it a day. It's been a good day. Shower. I think I'll play some games. I need to practice some Hitman again before I do another Hitman stream. Who knows? Maybe after this, I'll go clean up, and then I'll follow up with the Hitman stream in a little bit. I haven't done Hitman in a minute. All right, let's get this stuff done, huh? All right. Just a little bit more here and there will get us what we're looking for. I know this beat. I mean, I know it's on lo-fi right now, but this is actually, that beat is actually famous. Down, 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 down. Anyone else hear that? Down, 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 down. If you all know what song I'm talking about, right? The Oh Boy song. Dun, 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 down. Is it? Down. Boy. Boy. Oh, 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 and a boy. Well, I forget the song that I think it's Juvenile or something like that. You know that that chord. It's not really a chord progression because it's not a guitar, but I think y'all know what I'm talking about. The same melody. Your famous 4-chord song. Everybody has a famous 4-chord song. Same 4 chords. Would you just adhere to the damn wall like I want you to? Mainly what I wanted to do. All right, so we have successfully completed today's goal. The wall is now 100% on the wall. I might have like 1 or 2 other oh yeah, you know what? I do have that one spot I want to cover. I will still do that one more spot. So once this dries, I will do this spot right here. Once we cover that up, then next weekend we'll just be filling in all of the gaps, filling in all of the seams, and then it'll be the top layer cover, and sanding, and then painting. So much. But hey, we've been doing pretty well for today. I'm gonna have to clean up, do some vacuuming and whatnot, but I think we're doing all right for time. I think overall it's looking pretty good. Oh yeah, just wanted to fix that one piece, and I already have something cut out for it, I believe. No, I think I was going to cut out a different piece. That's right. I think it was this side. Yeah. Yeah. Gonna play nicely. Gotta make way too much for this, so spread it around a little bit. Okay, so we're just gonna spread this on the back wall. We're gonna get this piece slapped on, and then we'll use the rest of this to kind of fill in anything else. I don't think we have any other big holes that we care about right now. I think everything else can be filled up with plaster next weekend. Okay, so we're just gonna put some 3 dabs on this. There we go. Okay. Put some of this thicker stuff in where I need connection to walls. Thicken those bonds up. We don't have as much play, because that's a big thing with this stuff right now, and I just want to get rid of all the play against the wall because there's a lot of movement. Because obviously with all the textures, not everything is touching the wall, and I don't actually attach the pieces to the wall from the back. I only attach them on these corners. So some of them aren't strong enough to not give a little bit. So these bigger, thicker corners, we want to get deep in there, enough to touch the wall so when it hardens, there's no more give. That's going to be super important for integrity. Because once we do, don't need that anymore. Because once we do get the layer on top, everything is going to become a lot stronger. Once that thin layer that we do eventually hardens, everything is going to lose a lot of that sway. But these edge pieces are going to be the biggest culprits because obviously, it's all about surface area. If this main piece, this isn't going to move a whole lot because it's isolated and it's going to get stronger. But this corner piece will still flex because it doesn't have as much surface area that's holding it down and attached to anything else that's also stationary. So we want to make sure that these corners that we are going to fill in over time will eventually adhere to the wall. That's another reason why it's also good to leave some of these gaps into the wall so you can make sure that it adheres to it. But that is it. We are officially done with today's goal. I'm probably going to finish the shelf throughout the day, but that's just going to take me several hours because I have to wait for each section of the glue to dry, and then after that's done, I can put all my games up. Probably post some pictures in the Discord for y'all if you guys are interested. But other than that, I think I'm done. This is what I wanted to do. I was successful. And yeah, I'm going to go dump this water real quick. But I don't think there's anything else I can do other than clean up. And yeah, it's 2:30. I'll go take a shower. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll hop on to some Hitman in a little bit. And do some hitmaning before we go out to dinner. But yeah, otherwise, thanks everybody for showing up, for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. I'll probably keep doing this on the weekends. This is a lot of fun to set up in here, hang out with y'all, show you what I'm doing, and yeah, just show you the end result. It'll be nice to have some documentation, other than just the solid pictures. It'll be kind of fun to have this once the room's all done. Be able to point back and have people see where it all came from. And now I have the hiccups for some reason. All right, well, yeah, I may or may not be back for Hitman in an hour or so from the regular Misfit Gamers Studios. Might be testing out some of my audio quality there as well because that's. That just got updated as well. So yeah, otherwise, I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I hope you guys have a fantastic week ahead of you. If you want to join me for normally D&D scheduled content, we are going to be here on Monday, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I will be doing a homebrew review of a community submission or a community creation that was submitted to us. And then on Friday, I haven't decided what Friday's topic is going to be yet, but probably be a high point, an in-depth high point series. I haven't done one of those yet in a while, so I haven't talked really about a lot of stuff going on with high point. I may even talk about my new HP stuff that might be officially launching here soon. But otherwise, I'm gonna clean up in here, and then I'm gonna go shower, and then I'm gonna maybe go play some games. So, either join me later, join me on Monday. It's been fantastic. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Cheers, y'all.